let's talk stimulus. After shooting down that $908 billion bipartisan package, Senator Mitch McConnell now says that compromise is within reach. He's resumed talks with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on economic aid for all Americans. We have Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman here to talk about this. So, Rick, I know that you say that there's not going to be one big package, but you think instead that there's going to be piecemeal legislation. Talk us through that thesis.
I think that's just a more realistic expectation at this point. I mean, look, we've been talking for seems like 6 months about how big is this one single number 4 stimulus bill going to be. And it now seems quite possible that it's not going to be one big bill, that it could be some smaller pieces of legislation. For one thing, Congress does have to pass spending bills next week. That's just to keep the government running. If assuming they do not reach agreement, and I don't think they're going to in this latest round of negotiations, what you could see is a few provisions, such as continuing some of the unemployment assistance programs, which are scheduled to run out at the end of December. You could see that, for example, attached to the spending bill that Congress has to pass next week. With the two real sticking points here seem to be preventing a big bill that covers everything. And that's, should there be a liability shield for businesses, which Republicans insist there should be and Democrats don't like. And then should there be a lot of aid to states and cities, which Democrats insist on and Republicans say, how about no? So I just don't see them coming to terms on that in the next few days.
All right. So it has been a lot of will they, won't they over the last couple of months. I think I know your answer. You and I have been chatting long enough that I think I can pretty much get a good read. So likelihood that it's going to happen by New Year's, yay or nay?
A big bill, I'm a nay on that. And look, we still have to get through these two runoff elections in Georgia for the 2 Senate seats, which are going to determine the ultimate composition of the Senate. And honestly, I think Mitch McConnell just thinks he has the leverage to hold his ground. My guess is that if you voted on this so-called bipartisan package for about $900 billion, I think if the Senate actually voted on that, if Mitch McConnell let it come to a vote, I think my guess is it would pass. But McConnell doesn't want it, and he's got a handful of conservatives in his corner, and he gets to call the shots. So that's my reasoning for saying I don't think we're going to see a big bill by the end of the year.
It is the smallest package that we've seen, and we know that Republicans like that, they've always been sparring over that headline number. Really quick, Rick, what then do you think of the chances that perhaps a President Biden will say, hey, my predecessor used executive action when it came to, giving a little bit of relief and some stimulus to folks. I'm going to do the same.
I don't think he's going to have very much success in terms of dollar amounts. He can certainly do some things with regard to like the national stockpile and protective equipment and do some things differently than Trump. He can set different guidelines. His version of the CDC will probably be different from Trump. But in terms of economic aid, there's just not very much Joe Biden can do. And by the way, Trump tried to roll out some economic aid through executive action, and that didn't really work out either. So I don't think Biden's going to have better luck.
All right. Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman with some of those updates and the little bit of negative news on stimulus. I think folks were really hoping
Just
to
the
tune in
messenger.
and hear you say some good news, and you didn't give it to us, Rick. All right. Thanks so much for that.